March 3rd, I guess, Logan came out, and
2017.
2017, and the first rated R Marvel movie starring Wolverine. Second one overall with Deadpool. Thank you, Deadpool, for allowing Marvel movies to be rated R. Or should we think Ryan Reynolds?
I think they're one and the same. I think Deadpool in the comics is actually Ryan Reynolds.
I think you're absolutely right. It's based loosely. I want to know when Ryan Reynolds was born and when that comic book started coming out. Maybe in his teenage years. I don't know.
I'm telling you, when he became a young adult, somebody met him and was like, "That's Deadpool right there."
Yeah. Yeah, definitely could. But anyhow, we're not talking about Deadpool. Stay on track because we're talking about Logan. Amazing movie. I really did like it. I thought that there were some low points to it, especially the protagonist. I really didn't care for him too much. I think they tried a little bit too hard. I also thought that they tried a little too hard with a lot of the cussing and some of the violence. I think they just kind of went overboard because they're rated R. They're like, hey, we're rated R. Let's go ahead and chop off heads and spill out guts and do everything. It
I
just
couldn't agree more. When we watched the beginning, uh, you know, in the comics, and I know you don't read the comics, but for anyone else that didn't read the comics or did read the comics, Wolverine does not even want to pop his claws out in Old Man Logan. He's done with that life. He doesn't want to live a violent life. He wants to live a peaceful life, which is kind of what they're going for in this one.
yeah.
He's taking care of Charles. He's like a limo driver.
Hmm.
He's just trying to get by and save up for a boat. But in the very beginning, what does he do? He pops his claws out and slices a whole bunch of people up needlessly. And it's like Marvel's apology just to show, hey, this is where this movie's going. Love us because we put blood in it.
Well, and we don't want to do any spoilers, but the actually first scene wasn't that. What it without I and it's going to be a little bit vague here because I don't want to give it out. But the very first scene, you know how they do that after the credit scene. Well, this movie they do before the movie scene. What did you think of that?
That's not the first scene of the movie, so you can't argue with me that the first scene isn't the limo scene.
Yeah,
But the very first scene, the Deadpool spoiler, was freaking amazing. And on the phone booth it says Nathan Summers coming soon. That was fantastic. You know, I mean,
yeah,
just the little shout out to Cable coming was just great. I mean, they couldn't have nailed it better.
yeah. The first scene of Logan was pretty cool. So this
Yeah,
this
yeah. We should just talk about Deadpool. Why are we talking about Logan?
the
Like,
second scene of Dead Logan, I understand where you're coming from. They just, he was getting his tires stolen or his rims stolen, and he comes and just kills all the Mexicans. Well, I don't think I can say that. Kills all the Mexicans that are trying to steal his uh, rim.
yeah,
So
and he's like, "Hey, you're gonna strip them because they're chrome plated." Wouldn't the wrench still fit on there, whether they're chrome plated or not? I
yeah,
mean, it's like one size fits another.
I found it funny. He really cared about that car so much that he took a bullet for it uh, when he dove in front of not the car. Um,
Which
so
is amazing because that car takes a heck of a beating and still keeps going.
yeah, that car when he drops it off to the valet, keep it running. It just bullet holes everywhere. Um,
Yeah, and I love how like they get a truck later and then the truck breaks down like really quickly. But that limo lasted forever.
yeah, I mean they try to ram it through a fence. It doesn't go, so he backs up. The fence is with them, which makes for a lot of good action. Which
Yeah,
that's
I was kind of sad at that part because I really loved when X-23 was just plowing through all those soldiers,
oh
and the
yeah,
fact that they decided to get in the limo and run away, I was like, oh, she's not going to kill anybody else for a while because they got to do a car chase scene. Because X-23, that girl they picked was fantastic, and she was plowing through the soldiers, the action scenes she got, action scenes. Too many old fashions for me. Not that that's such a thing as having too many. But however, it was really great. And when they got in the limo, I was really upset because that means that girl was going to stop killing people for a little bit, so they could do the obligatory car chase, which you have to have in every action movie, at
I have
least one
to.
apparently.
It's a must.
Yeah, I think that's how they get more money. They're like, hey, we have this many cars we need to destroy.
Right, exactly. I thought that yeah, X-23 played obviously a big role, but she was amazing. She was fantastic. She was my besides Patrick Stewart and Hugh Jackman, Xavier and Logan. Their chemistry together was amazing. I think that a lot of the comedy from the movie comes from Patrick Stewart, and I thought it was really good, the dynamics between those two. Uh, I also like the dynamics of X-23 with Xavier too. I think it all just blended really well. I think she fit in really well, and her action scenes were unbelievable. They were really
Yeah,
good.
and yeah, they picked like a fantastic girl to play this part. I
Yeah,
mean, she's very emotional. She didn't have a lot of lines, but the ones she did have, uh, where she just nailed them. It's hard to find, I think, a good child actor, right? A lot of times they all
yeah.
seem so stiff, where it seems forced or whatever. But she seemed very, very natural, and her action scenes were incredible. I don't think they could have done a better job picking a girl to play her X-23. I would also say that it's even better than Kick Ass, and Chloe something something that I don't know how to pronounce her last name.
Yeah.
I think that little girl did a better job than she did.
You mean X-23 did a better job?
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, than Hit Girl.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
I would agree 100%. She really made that movie. I mean, to me, that's my excitement moving forward. Is we probably won't have another Logan movie or Wolverine movie, but we'll probably have have a X-23 movie, and I think that's a good direction for
yeah,
sure.
and I don't know where they're gonna go with it, but
Hmm.
like I could totally see her like grown up and being a part of X Force, and for anyone who's a fan of comics, X-23 was a huge part of X Force, um, and she's just vicious like Wolverine. I mean, they could do so much with that and make much better rated R movies where she's infiltrating and being an assassin. Um, I think they really nailed it with this girl, and I think they need to continue with her uh, throughout her life and just keep making these movies.
Well, I don't know how old she is, but how greedy some of these companies are. I'm not saying Marvel is one of them, but if they want to chuck out a movie next year with a grown up, a grown X-23, or even a teenage X-23, I think that they'll probably recast that.
Yeah, I think that it would be better if they just spent all that money just making Hugh Jackman immortal. Then they could just keep making Wolverine movies. But I'm not in charge. I can't tell them what to do with their money.
Well, there is a. I don't. I said a spoiler. It should be spoiler free, but talking about a clone of Wolverine, but
AKA Terminator.
yeah. So, well, if you
Yeah,
haven't
it
seen the
really.
movie, I definitely suggest you go watch it. I think everything about it really good. One of my favorite Marvel movies, I think Guardian of the Galaxy and Deadpool are my two favorite, and this is a close third for sure.
Yeah, the only problem I think I had was with the story overall. Like I touched on in the beginning, where he was trying to stay low key, but pulled out his claws right away for
Yeah.
people stealing his tires. And I don't know how many people it usually takes to steal tires. It doesn't seem like it would take
There's like
many.
6 of them.
Yeah, it's like
You have to
usually
have a
it's like
lookout.
usually it's like two or three guys. I mean, not that I've had my tires stolen or stolen tires before. I'm just guessing.
Right.
You get a lookout. One guy makes sure the car doesn't fall. The other guy takes the tires off or whatever. Yeah, I think instead of having like experts on scene, they need to have common people. Like sometimes when you watch a movie and the person doesn't say goodbye, you just need a regular person to be like, why did you just hang up on them? Just
Right.
just say goodbye.
Why? All the time, and that infuriates me. I mean, it's one of the craziest things.
Yeah, so I mean, I wish I could spoil the movie because there's something else, I wanted to talk about that really bothered me in the movie. Um, but you'll see it is like You get the Terminator, and the Terminator's like waiting, and you realize it later, like, why is he waiting? I think about it. Think about it. If you watch this video and then you go see the movie, you'll see what I mean.